Hi guys, happy Sunday. I'm gonna wait just maybe a minute or two just to see if anyone else is going to log in for the live right now. I know that people are probably busy. It's the middle of the day on Sunday, so this replay is available for as long as you guys need it to be. It'll be up on my Casey McMinn Photography Brides and Bows Facebook page. So if anyone is missing it right now, you can definitely come back and view later. So today, what we're going to talk about, I'll just go ahead and get into it. And as you guys log in, I'll catch you up to speed if we need to do that. But today we're going to talk about wedding day photography timelines. I know that it's pretty confusing when you're trying to come up with that timeline for your wedding day. You know, you've picked out your venue and all of your vendors, and then the next thing that you're going to need to think about is how's the day going to go. And you definitely need a timeline because it's a pretty hectic day. So you need a timeline, number one, you know, so that you know when your different vendors are supposed to be there. Starting from the very beginning of the day, hair and makeup, all the way till the very end of the night when you have your exit and you get to do the fun little sparkler exits or whatever you decide. So I want to talk about specifically wedding day photography timelines, and that will kind of give you, once we talk about that, I'm going to give you a basic outline of how your timeline should go that day, depending on if you're doing the first look or if you're not doing the first look. I'm going to break it down into different sections. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 9 to 10 different sections of your wedding day, depending on if you have the first look or if you don't have the first look. So what I'm going to do is take each section and let you know what time of day that happens at, how long you should plan for your photographer to be able to get the pictures that they need of you guys. And from there, that'll show you how long the day will be. And you can take that and get everything set up for when, you know, your makeup artist and your hair lady needs to be there, when your food vendors need to show up, stuff like that. So I think probably the easiest thing that you could do to start out for your timeline is after you book your venue, you know, you probably have a general idea of when you're going to want your ceremony to be. Like, you know, if you're having a super formal, fancy black tie wedding, you know that your ceremony is going to be in the evening for sure. If it's not so fancy and you're wanting to do it a little bit earlier, you know that the wedding ceremonies usually start at 4, 5, 5:30, maybe 6 o'clock, something like that. It wouldn't be as late as a black tie ceremony. So take that time that you and your vendor for your venue set up for when your ceremony is going to start. And what I like to do is work backwards from the time that your ceremony is going to start. So I'm going to go through all different parts of the day, starting from the beginning, and this will kind of give you different chunks of time that you can see how long you'll need to get your pictures done. And then you can go from there. So the first thing we'll start with is a wedding day timeline with a first look. And then we'll also talk about a wedding day timeline without a first look, because you could go either way. First looks are really popular for many different reasons, and we'll talk about all that a little bit later. But, you know, whatever you choose to do with or without a first look, there's no wrong or right way. You know, some people are really want to be traditional and not do a first look, and I totally get that. So we're going to talk about both, and then you can go from there. So let's start with a wedding day timeline that has a first look. So your first part of your day is going to be your detail shots. And that's going to be when your photographer first arrives, and they are going to photograph all of your beautiful little wedding details. So from your dress to your shoes to any jewelry that you might have. You might have, you know, a cute little purse that you're using that day, or you might have, your garters, stuff like that. You might have like a really pretty bottle of perfume, or also you'd want to include your veil. Anything like that is going to be the first thing that your wedding photographer is going to want to photograph when they arrive. So in order to usually get those shots, typically 30 minutes is a good amount of time to get that done for any photographer. So I'll also give you guys some tips on what's going to be best to do for each different segment that we have. So when you have your photographer arriving to do your detail shots, the best thing to do is to have all of your little details, everything that I just listed off, already in a pile, ready to go for your photographer, so they can just come in and grab that stuff and photograph them immediately. That'll also help you to not be like running around so crazy, looking for everything frantically when they're arriving and waiting for you to hand them the stuff. So you or your bridesmaid or one of your bridesmaids, y'all get all of your stuff ready in one pile somewhere, ready for your photographer well before they get there, and then that'll be super easy for them to come in and do that. Where those details are photographed at is going to be wherever you're getting ready at. So whether that be a bridal suite that your venue has, or you may be getting ready in a different getting ready spot. Say, I just photographed a wedding 3-4 weeks ago, and they were all getting ready at a hotel that was just a little bit ways away from the venue. So all that stuff will be photographed wherever you're getting ready at. Let's see. So that's going to be the first thing. That's morning-ish, or that's definitely going to be in the morning time. Maybe early afternoon, like probably the latest your photographer would show up would be around 12 to start shooting all that stuff. Because if you have a full day of wedding photography, that's going to take you a long time. So after that, your detail shots are done. Then you have preparations and like getting ready shots. So your photographer or photographers, if you have two, that's great. Your detail shots, you'll have, pictures of you and your bridesmaids getting ready and you and your groomsmen getting ready, stuff like that. Some advice for that, that's probably going to take 45 minutes to an hour. If you have two photographers, I'd say, 45 minutes is good, because one can go with one group and one can go with the other. If you have just one photographer, I'd probably allow an hour. So like I could spend 30 minutes with the girls and then 30 minutes with the boys, something like that. Some good advice that I can give you guys for that portion of your day is to take everything in your getting ready space, whether, like I said, whether that be at the bridal suite at your venue, or if it's in any other getting ready space like a hotel or something. Take all of your stuff, because the room's probably going to be a little bit messy since you guys have been getting ready that morning. Take all of your stuff, like 30 minutes before the photographer's supposed to get there. Take all your stuff and put it in a pile somewhere, like in the closet, or way, way, way far away in the corner by the front of the room where the front door is, something like that. That way you know that your pictures are going to be free of clutter, and you're going to get those beautiful shots you've always dreamed of, and you're not going to have something random like, I don't know, somebody's bag sitting in the background with all their stuff spilling out, stuff like that. So go ahead and take all of your stuff and get that out of the way for them. That will be a big help for them as well, and that'll also allow to make sure that you're running on time with that portion as well. So, all right, so like I said, that's going to be, you need to allow 45 minutes to an hour. And if you guys have something to write with, you might want to just jot down like how long each of these portions is going to take throughout the day. And then you can take those time frames and piece them into your specific wedding day. So the preparations I just listed off, 45 minutes to an hour, that is going to be early afternoon. That's right after your detail shots. Usually the photographer is going to show up towards the end of when your hair and makeup has been going on. So hair and makeup has been going on for hours before that. They'll probably show up the last hour or 30 minutes of hair and makeup to start photographing. That way everyone's already has their hair and makeup done for the most part. Everyone's looking good, so the pictures are going to be fantastic as well. Your next portion of the day after you have your preparations and getting ready shots is what I like to do is individual shots of the bride and groom. So if I'm by myself, I will just get the bride by herself in her getting ready space, photographs of her alone, and then I will go over to where the groom is at in his getting ready space and get some shots of him by himself. Or like I said, if you have two photographers, one can be with the bride and one can be with the groom. You're going to want to allow, I'd say 20 to 30 minutes for that segment of your day. So that's going to be in the afternoon time leading up to your ceremony. Everybody's going to be ready at this point, and this is just some beautiful portraits of just you, right after you've got ready. So those are really fun. And then, so 20 to 30 minutes for that. When you are doing a first look, that's going to be after those individual shots. So the first look, I would always allow 30 minutes for you guys to do that. So, and that's going to be, mostly every photographer is going to want, 20 to 30 minutes built in. I just say 30 just in case things are running behind, because things can, because it's a crazy day. So allow 30 minutes for the first look. The first look is going to be right before the ceremony. You are going to do that. A good place to do the first look is going to be either at the venue or in some kind of, whether it be at the venue or somewhere else, it needs to be a secret hidden location, because you want this to be just you and your fiance. And you don't want family and you don't want your bridal party around. This is y'all's moment. So the best place to do it would be somewhere secret where people are not going to be around. And hopefully they wouldn't really be around quite yet, because it's still kind of early in the day at this point. So you can do that at the venue or some little spot really close to the venue. If you're doing it outside, it is the middle of the day. Your photographer is going to look for a giant patch of shade, like a spot where it's shady all over and it's not really sunny and bright. So one or the other, whether it be indoors or outdoors, that would be your situation for that. So the first look, give about 30 minutes for that. Like I said, make sure that you guys are by yourself, because this is your moment, and it's like seriously just like one of the more peaceful moments of time during the day that you get to have with your significant other. So you want to enjoy it and make sure that no one else is around, except for your photographer, who will be hiding in the background taking the pictures, but you probably wouldn't know that they were there. So after that first look, then, since you did do the first look, you are able to knock out a lot of other pictures pre-ceremony that you, if you didn't do the first look, you'd have to do afterwards. So right after the first look, I like to go ahead and get the bridal party pictures, which is going to be in the afternoon leading up to the ceremony. You typically want about 30 minutes to do the bridal party. It doesn't really take that long to get the bridal party, do the girls and the guys, and then put everyone together and get the whole group, and just get some fun shots with that. That's going to be, excuse me, let me get a sip of water. Your bridal party pictures are going to be at your venue or at the, kind of like the same thing as your first look at a spot close by to your venue. If it's outdoors, a nice shaded area, something like that. So leave about 30 minutes time frame for that. After your bridal party pictures, you can do all of your family portraits, which is nice because then your family won't have to be, you know, worried about taking pictures after the ceremony when it's the reception and they want to be having fun. So your family pictures, it depends on how large your family is, but I always say 30 minutes at least. So I can do 15 minutes with one side of the family and 15 minutes with the other side. So bride and groom side. 45 minutes if you have a very large family. It doesn't really take as long as you might think to get the family pictures, and although that it might seem stressful to even think about having both families get together to do these shots, your photographer will already have set up with you all the shots that you guys have agreed upon that you want to get with your family for that day. I always have a list of the family shots that I'm going to take, so that like literally I put the bride and groom in their spot and I just start working down my list and going, you know, keep the bride and groom there and add the different family members in and out. So it goes real quick. It's not that hard at all. So it goes a lot faster than you think. And then you'll do, you do the bride side and then you'll do the groom side. And I think 30 minutes is definitely enough time. Unless, like I said, you just have a gigantic family, then 45 minutes probably. So that'll be right before your ceremony. And it can be indoors at your venue, or same thing, it can be outside in a shaded patch. So I think that, let's see, bridal party, family portraits, that is right before your ceremony. After that, that's going to give you a little bit of time to hang out, maybe 30 minutes to an hour to hang out and relax before your ceremony starts. During that time is when the photographer is going to want to get detailed shots of the venue. So what we like to do is go in before any guests get there and get pictures of your ceremony spot, different details within that, and then go to your reception spot and get a picture of how it looks before it's been interrupted with no guests or anything like that. So that's something else that you might not think about that your photographer is going to be capturing, that you'd want to add into your wedding day timeline. So I would allow about 30 minutes for that. That doesn't take too long at all. We're going to talk more about that a little bit later too, about how to, well, I guess since we're on it, we'll just talk about it now. What I would say is get your wedding coordinator or your wedding planner to help you kind of close off, not close it off, but in a way close off the area so that your guests aren't coming in there before they need to be. Some people, some guests arrive early, like super early, and that's totally fine. But just go ahead and plan ahead of time with your wedding planner or coordinator and let them know that my photographer is going to get these shots of the venue space pre-ceremony, and so if you could please help me to ward off the guests and they can get those pictures with their help. So definitely have them know about that. That won't be the first time that your wedding planner has heard about that. So they can always definitely help with that. That would be super easy for them to do. After the venue details, and like I said, during that time, you guys are actually just relaxing for a second, because next up is your ceremony when you're about to get married. And that's the most exciting part. Your ceremony, you need to allow for, typical ceremonies are going to be about 20 minutes, maybe 30. The but a general timeline, I would say, for a ceremony would be 20 minutes, unless you're having, some traditions like Catholic weddings might do a full mass. So those can be longer. Those can be about an hour. But not many people do full mass. So if you're one of those people where you're just going to be, doing like a 20 or 30-minute ceremony, that's going to be the typical amount of time that you would need in order to, have your whole wedding party walk down the aisle and then have you come down the aisle. You do your vows, you do any kind of, you might do like a little ceremony within that with like the sand or lighting a unity candle or something like that. So that would definitely be enough time for you to get all of that. And after your ceremony, like I said, is going to be late afternoon or evening, depending on what type of wedding you're having. If it's a more casual wedding, you'll just probably have the ceremony start at anywhere from, I'd say, 4 to 6. 5 or 5:30 is a usual time that I've run into for ceremonies to start. If you're doing a black tie and it's super fancy, then it might be like a 7 p.m. ceremony start time. So it just depends on what you want there, but allow 20 minutes for the ceremony for sure. After the ceremony, what I like to do as a photographer, and what a lot of photographers like to do, is have the bride and groom they take the bride and groom immediately right after they get married to go get pictures of just them real quick again, because that's another really special moment. Besides the first look, that the bride and groom just get to be together and just, not be around everybody, and just get some really sweet pictures of them right after they've just got married. So that's a special time. That only takes about 20 minutes. It doesn't take that long to get pictures of the bride and groom. And then after that, you guys are free to go to your reception. So if you are doing the first look, and we've just gone through that wedding day timeline with that first look in there, you've pretty much gotten all the pictures, like all the group pictures that everyone needs to be involved in. You've already done all that. So now you get to go to your reception and just do all the fun stuff. So your reception, it depends on what you want, but most receptions are going to be 4 to 5 hours. I've seen 6-hour receptions, but that's kind of stretching it, I think. I think a 4-hour reception is always good. Not too short, but not too long. So that enables you to have enough time to get everything done that you need. So definitely allow 4 hours for your reception, starting from, the time that you and your photographer are done getting pictures of just the two of you. You come back into the reception, and that starts with announcing the bride and groom and doing all that fun stuff. So you need a 4-hour time frame for that, for sure. You could go up to 5 or 6 hours. Just depends on what you want to do. Some people, their weddings last a little bit later than most weddings I've photographed have lasted until about 10 o'clock. But some weddings that I have been to have, gone till 11 or 12. So it just depends on how much dancing you guys want to do and all that stuff. So after your reception, that would be basically, all the way up to the exit. That's the end of your day. So I've totaled all that up, and that is 8 to 10 hours, depending on how long your reception is. So you need to allow 8 to 10 hours that day for you guys to get all the pictures that you need and not be like in a super crazy time crunch. And that's the general, that's going to go across the board for any photographer. It doesn't matter who they are. They usually need 8 to 10 hours in order to get everything like that you would want. I do have an order of reception events. We'll talk about that in a second, because I do want to go through a timeline where it's without the first look. So some of you guys are going to be doing a timeline without the first look. Hold on just a second. I'm going to log into my Facebook Live on my phone so I can see the comments because I can't see them on the computer. Boop. Here we are. All right, so we're going to discuss now a wedding day timeline that has does not have a first look. So there we go. Okay, I got my phone on so I can see the comments and everything going on here. All right, there's that. So without a wedding day, without a first look, your wedding day timeline is going to be a little bit different, but basically what you would do is take all those little portions I just talked about and we just kind of rearrange them a little bit. So let's start with the beginning again. We don't have to talk about everything again because we've already gone through that, but I'm going to list off how your day would look in the order of that day. So you have your detail shots, that's 30 minutes. You have your preparations and getting ready, that's 45 minutes to an hour that you need to allow for that. You've got your individual shots. Then we've got, let's see. So individual shots are you're going to need 20 to 30 minutes for that. I would just say 30 to be safe. And then after that, you have your venue details, which those don't take long. Just 20 minutes is really all that 20 to 30 minutes is all they need for that. And then you'll have your ceremony, like we just discussed. That could be anywhere from 20, 30 minutes to an hour, but usually 20, 30 minutes for most typical weddings. After your ceremony, then, since you guys didn't have the first look, now that you have seen each other at the ceremony, then you get to do all of those other pictures that you need real quick before your reception starts. So after that ceremony, then you're going to do the bride and groom portraits, 20 minutes long for that, just you guys together with nobody else around. And then immediately following, in that same space probably, would be the easiest plan. You're going to need your family and your bridal party to meet you over there where you're getting pictures done. You're going to do your family pictures. Those would be done in about 30 minutes. And you are going to do your bridal party pictures, which take about 30 minutes as well. So if you do not have a first look, what I would say is it's really important to do a cocktail hour after your ceremony so that your guests can hang out and have some drinks and some appetizers while you guys are getting your bridal portraits, family pictures, as well as bridal party pictures too. That's going to take us about an hour's worth of time. So the cocktail hour is perfect for that. So that's how you would work that out if you don't have the first look. We'll talk about why you want to do the first look and why some people wouldn't here in a second. It just depends on your taste and what you want to do. There's no wrong or right way. So when you, let's see, when you do have your first look, there's a couple benefits that I would say to why you would want to do that. Number one, it's just a really, really, really nice time for you and your fiance to have a moment together where you're, uninterrupted and you don't have all the people around and you just get to take a small breather and short period of time together to just really soak in how exciting and special the day is. So that's number one, why it's really nice to do it. Number two is that I hear a lot of the time, and I felt this way too, that you're really, really nervous that day leading up to it, to your wedding, until you see your significant other. After, you know, 100% of couples that I photographed, after they see each other, whether it be the first look or if they don't do the first look during the ceremony, after they see each other, they always say they feel so much better. They're not so nervous anymore. And they just feel like such a sense of relief, whereas like the whole day they've been like pretty nervous, because it's a big day. So you are going to be pretty nervous. And I remember I felt the same way too when I got married, that I was like freaking out nervous all day long. And then once I saw Eric, I felt so much better. So if you, you know, are a person that you want to go ahead and get that feeling done with, because you don't want to be super nervous all day long, then the first look is definitely a good idea for you. So that's another reason why you're going to feel a lot more comfortable at the ceremony after that. So, you know, it definitely has its benefits. Also, the big thing is that you get to get all those giant group pictures, like not giant group pictures like your family portraits and your bridal party pictures. You'll be able to get all that out of the way before your ceremony. So you will have saved yourself a lot of time that you'll actually get to enjoy at your reception. Not to say that one way is wrong and one way is right, because it's up to you. It works out either way. So that's just a couple of benefits of why doing the first look is so popular these days. And so that's just food for thought for you if you're kind of on the fence about it. But if you're more traditional and you want to wait to see your groom, like when you're walking down the aisle, then I totally get that, because that's really exciting too, to see his face for the first time he sees you. And it's just super traditional, and then that's a lot of fun too. And you can always get your pictures afterwards during the cocktail hour of your family and your bridal party and stuff like that. So that's just kind of a little insight into the first look. It is super trendy these days. So, and people wonder, you know, like, where did it come from all of a sudden? I just think it does have its benefits. So something to think about there. Let's see. We already said, if you are not doing a first look, make sure you insert a cocktail hour after your ceremony, in between the ceremony and the reception, so you can take care of all the pictures that you need to do. You'll need the full hour. That's why, like, it really is called a cocktail hour, because you need an hour to get all those other pictures done before you come back to your reception, so you can enjoy your reception. A couple other things that I would recommend, or maybe have you consider, is that everything that we've talked about today, with how long each of your segments is going to take during the day, we're not factoring in any travel time. So say you and your bridesmaids and the groom and groomsmen are all getting ready at a hotel, and you're not getting ready in like a bridal suite that's actually at the venue. So if you're doing that, then you also need to think about factoring in those travel times. Hopefully you can find a hotel that's super close to the venue, so your shuttle can just take you there in a matter of minutes, but you do need to add those bits and pieces of time in throughout the day if you are traveling from one location to the other and you're not going to stay in the same spot. So always think about that. I had another thing written down to tell you guys. Once you're done taking pictures leading up to the ceremony, whether you're doing a first look or you're not doing a first look, it's always good to have you and your bridal party, bride and groom and bridal party, at the venue space probably 45 minutes before the ceremony. Just because you want to make sure that everyone's there and that you're not running up to the wire. Some venues, you know, whatever time you say that your ceremony is going to start, that's seriously when it starts, you know, and you can't be late on that. So make sure that y'all are there early, and 45 minutes at least, or an hour if you have that much time, and then that can be just time that y'all are just relaxing. that's a suggestion there for sure, so that you're not like super stressed about making it back to your venue on time for your ceremony to start. I have a couple other things I want to tell you guys. I'm trying to think about what order I want to tell you in. Okay, so let's start back at the beginning of your day. This is just for any wedding day timeline. So when you're getting your hair and makeup done, make sure you insert plenty of hours for you and your bridesmaids to get your hair and makeup done, because I think I said on my last Facebook Live that always takes a lot longer than you think. So ask your hair and makeup person how long it's going to take for each girl to get their hair and makeup done, and total that up and go from there, to make sure that your hair and makeup person gets there at a reasonable amount of time to where you guys aren't, rushing to finish everything. I think on my last Facebook Live, I also suggested to take that time that you figure out that you're going to need for your hair and makeup and add an extra hour to it. Because trust me, everything with that you're running behind a lot when you're doing your hair and makeup, just because a lot of girls getting ready and stuff like that. So add an extra hour onto that time. Your photographer, like I said, is going to show up at that last hour or so that you guys are getting ready, where everyone's, got everything done, and you're just doing like the final touches. That's when your photographer will come and start taking pictures of y'all getting ready. So, yeah. Oh, also, what you want to do is, if you're the bride, you want to be the last one getting your hair and makeup done, so that you're looking fresh. Now, I mean, any makeup artist is going to do a good enough job to where it doesn't matter really when you get your makeup done, even if you went first at the very beginning of the morning. Your makeup's going to last throughout the day regardless, because you're going to have an awesome hair and makeup person, and they are going to know what they're doing, and you're not going to have to worry about your makeup not looking good by the time your ceremony rolls around and your reception, stuff like that. But it's always just a good idea to have you get your hair and makeup done last. That way also when the photographer is getting in there, she can actually snap some actual, not stage photographs of you getting your hair and makeup done. And then for sure that your face and hair is going to be looking fresh all day long, and you won't have to worry about that. So I do want to talk about during your reception, just in case you guys have any questions about order of the events in your reception, how that might look for your wedding day timeline. Like I said, allow 4 to 6 hours for your reception. And the list of events that is typical for most weddings, unless there's some other traditions that you add in, is going to go like this. So first they're going to announce the bridal party. Bridal party comes in. This is the start of the reception. So announce the bridal party, and then right after that, they'll announce the bride and groom. The bride and groom come out and have their first dance. After the bride and groom do their first dance, then you still have a couple other dances left. You're going to have your father-daughter dance and your mother-son dance. Those can be done separately. If you want to do them separately, then do father-daughter first, and then do your mother and son dance next. Or I've seen a bunch of weddings where they do them together, so you could do them together too if you wanted to do that. After your dances, then you'll have your dinner and any toasts, that your best man or maid of honor is going to do. That's when they'll do those toasts during dinner. After dinner, you have after your toast, you have your dancing, which is typically, once that starts, that's going to be going on the rest of the night. During all of that time, you do also do your cake cutting and any if you do like the garter toss or tossing in the bouquet, which is really popular too, that's when you will do that, is after your cake cutting, and kind of like spread out. It's not right after the cake cutting. So you spread it out throughout the night. And then after that is your exit. So that's the order of events for your reception. I hope that helps you guys try and figure things out there. I will take all of the information that I just gave you guys about how long it'll take for each part of your day, and I'll put that in a post and put that up on our group page so you guys can look at that. And if anyone has any questions about your specific wedding day, and how you should work out your timeline for something, if you don't know something or you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me and I will help you figure that out. I think that's pretty much everything that we need to talk about. So I hope that this has kind of cleared up, how to kind of figure out how your day's going to go and how much time you need to allow for everything. Like I said at the beginning of this Facebook Live, kind of start with when your reception is going to start. When your ceremony is going to start, take that start time and take those chunks of time I just listed off for you and work your way backwards until you get to the beginning of your day. And then after that, you will tack on the reception, cocktail hour if you have that, and then reception, and that's easy to do. But the hardest thing to do is figure out all the stuff pre-ceremony. So I will post everything up on the page for you guys. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day, and hopefully this helps. Let me know if you need anything at all, and I hope you guys have an awesome day. Thanks for joining. See ya.